Martina Cook and Calvino II.
He also won the CIC 2-star at Belton, finishing on his dressage score of 44.7 that day. Looking at his recent form, he had 1 down with time penalties at Bramham at this same level, finished on a he had a high finishing score that day, because he picked up a lot of time penalties. But other than that, you will see a lot of show jumping clear rounds on this recent record. Houghton, Floors, Bicton and Belton, and always within the time. So looking at the challenge set today, we will be expecting Arco BB very much to jump clear and inside the time.
Well, as we have already established, the time is generous, but this time here, Tham has put this horse in a very, very good forward rhythm, and even if the time had been tighter, I'm sure he would have gone inside the time, because this is just a completely different round to what he did at Bramham with the horse. This is a rider who has really very much come up the ranks. I first saw him on Paris when he was a young boy, and then through the junior, now in the young rider system, and of course it's now part of the world-class Podium Potential program. So this is how the whole system works. He's got a lot of experience internationally, and I think will be a very strong card for the team in Mill Street.
So Arco BB, Sam Ekroyd hold their position with a super clear round in the second phase, and they go forward to the cross country this afternoon on 47.5. Well, we're heading towards the top 20 now. Just Vittoria Panizon, checkers play the game. They'll be next forward. They're in 21st position. But of course, with the withdrawal of Sammy Birch and the court jester, they'll actually rise up the order to 20th. So 47.4 Vittoria's score that she comes forward on. And this is a horse that actually won the big CCI 3-star class at Tattersalls just a few weeks ago. Will surely be a big player for those European Championships in a couple of weeks' time. But rides this horse for Patricia and Amy Lambert, 14 years of age, by Stravinsky. Checkers play the game.
Again, I can see here with Victoria, she is, compared to some of the riders, a little bit more physical when she sits on the horse. She checks them back, she moves with them, and it's again, all riders have their own different style, but Victoria has a very, very good record in the show jumping phase. And I shouldn't say that, she just rattled that fence behind. Again, got a good stride into the combination. Very good through that. Again, she's got a good, very good control over her body, and put the horse in a wonderful rhythm, and this horse is naturally very careful.
Well, one of the moments of the Event Rider Masters last year came when Burra Penny's almost jumped Vittoria out of the saddle here in this arena. Burra Penny's a huge jumper. Elvis, as this horse is known, checkers play the game. He did jump clear when he went on to that huge result earlier this season for this pair at Tattersalls, the CCI 3-star. They finished on 35.5. They kept all the poles up that day with 1 time penalty. It looks like they've done it here. They're inside the time, a clear round. Oh, 1 down, 1 down.
So 1 pole down, 51.4 for Vittoria Panizon. Checkers play the game, and 24th position. That drops them 4 places on the leaderboard, Yogi.
Absolutely, yes. She did rattle a few fences on the way around, so it wasn't totally surprising that she did have a fence. And of course, she went longer route, jumping the parallel rather than going for the planks, but she still got the time.
So next to go, it is for New Zealand. Tim Price with Sekatinka. Tim, who took on the ride on Sekatinka this year, took over from wife Janelle, who is currently pregnant, and I'm sure she'll be watching on closely. But stepped the horse up to this level at Bramham just a few weeks ago. Actually went very, very well there for a podium finish. Finished 3rd, and one to keep an eye on. He did some super trot work yesterday, Yogi. Was trending in the mid-30s, and just a bit of tension in the canter.
A little bit of tension in the canter. I actually saw his test, but again, when you talk about the show jumping phase here, you've seen Tim take the horse up to the top end of the arena, and this is a phase which Tim has usually done very, very well with his horses in. Rides the horse again very soft, very sympathetic with his style, and of course Tim and Nell not far away from here, just down the road where they are based over here, and again moves forward up the slope, then finds a good stride into the fence number 3. You can see wonderful forward rhythm. Very sorry.
In 19th position overnight, Yogi, but there isn't a championship for the New Zealanders or the Australians this year. It's just the Europeans, so it almost opens them up a little bit as to they can do what they want.
Yes, they are not under that pressure of having to go to certain competitions to get selected for a championship, and they can then match their horses the way they do. And because it's good for the sport here, because it means that with all these Australian, American and New Zealand riders based in Britain, they will most likely aim for competitions like Burley and Blenheim in the autumn, which adds interest to those competitions, and using the ERM competitions as part of the build-up to those major CCI competitions in the autumn.
Well, since Sekatinka has moved to the prices, she has had 2 clear rounds. A clear round with Janelle at Linier, a clear round with Tim at Bramham, and coming up for 3 in a row, a clear round here at Barbury.
So
yes, no, he will be pleased with that. Wonderful round again, beautifully controlled the whole way round, and again, the hallmark of these good rounds is the good rhythm.
well, that takes our clear rounds into double figures. 10 clear rounds so far. Sekatinka, Tim Price for New Zealand, riding for owner Joanne Pullen. They add nothing to their dressage score to go forward to this afternoon's cross country on 47.3. But we're nearly 3 fences within the leader, Thomas, Carlyle and Upsilon. As next to go is a young lady making her Event Rider Masters debut. It is Hannah Sue Burnett for the United States of America. Hannah Sue comes forward riding RF Demeter, and this is a horse owned by Jacqueline Mars, who's such a huge supporter of eventing in the United States, and 46.2 this combination's dressage coming forward to this second phase. A really experienced horse actually. Hannah Sue just took on the ride this year from Marilyn Little, who'd campaigned him at 4-star level and had a number of top 10 finishes in Kentucky. How hard is that, Yogi? You've taken on a horse from somebody else who's very established.
It depends very much on the horse. Some horses are easier to adapt to, and Hannah Sue is very experienced, so I don't think she will find any problems at all to adapt to this horse. And of course, Marilyn show jumps to a very high level as well as events to a high level, so she has the horse is well educated in the show jumping phase. And again, Hannah is doing a great job with the horse coming around here, and that wonderful rhythm, that calmness with the position. But this again, when the time is reasonably generous like it's been here, it just gives the riders that extra split second round each turn to set their horses up, to make sure that they jump them well. If the time was a little bit tighter and they feel the pressure of quickening round the turns all the time, that is when the fences often comes down.
So Hannah Sue Burnett for the United States of America. Another clear round for Hannah Sue, RF Demeter for owner Jacqueline Mars. And they go forward to the cross country on 46.2. And understand, Hannah Sue's birthday today, so we'll wish her very many happy returns too. But that is clear round number 11. So the scene is very much set for an excellent round across the country this afternoon. But so far, Yogi, the show jumping isn't perhaps causing as many problems as we thought.
It possibly hasn't done so, no. It certainly did walk a little bit more complicated than Dave's riders have made it look. But again, it just shows the high standard of the riding at the moment.
I was going to say the quality of this field here at Barbury is incredible.
Yes. And here's another rider who has been around for a long time. Francis Whittington has produced a lot of good horses to a very high level. Hasty Hints is a horse that has had a taste of 4-star level, and on his day is a very, very good jumper.
So Francis Whittington and Hasty Imp now in the arena. This horse by Master Imp. Francis made his senior team debut back in Blair in 2015, Yogi.
Yes, he'd been knocking on the door a long time, and again a rider that came up through the ranks. I remember him when he was part of the pony team. It's quite a few years ago now, and then he's come up the ranks. He's had lots of starts on 4-star level, and as we said, at Blair, that's where he made his debut for the senior team.
He's also been here 10 times before. In this class, Francis has ridden it 10 times, but interestingly, only 2 show jumping clears in that time. However, if we look at Hasty Imp, we had a clear this year at Samure inside the time. We had a clear inside the time at Chatsworth, and we had a clear inside the time at Burnham Market. This season, the form has been very good, Yogi.
Yes, again, it's a phase that Francis has worked on continuously, and certainly got his act together with this horse. And again, of course, when horses, they get more and more experience and they grow up and so on, as a young horse they might be weaker, they might have a few more fences down, and then as they get stronger and they develop in their years, they get more solid in their faces, and this horse is very much proof of that.
So Francis Whittington, an excellent clear round with Hasty Imp. He goes forward to the cross country on 45.6, but let's go down to Michael.
I've got Tim Price with me. Tim, congratulations, a clear round. Pleased with that?
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with her. A great little mare. I've stolen a few off Janelle, my wife, who's currently off games with a baby, soon to be born. So this is one I'd like to keep. So if I can rally up some support to keep this one, I think that'd be a good way of repaying me for riding all their horses.
And how did you find the course? What was the most challenging part out there?
She's quite hot, and as it showed in the dressage yesterday, so it's just keeping her relaxed because she's a great jumper. She's very measured. She's clever. So if I can get her into the ring in a relaxed way, then just trust her. And I managed to do that. You know, the hype, the noise, the clear round celebration noises, music is quite loud out here, and she was reacting to that. But then she just settled down and went in and jumped a really, really nice little round.
Tim, thank you very much. Best luck for this afternoon. Cheers, thanks.
I think Tim will be living in hope to try and keep hold of that ride from Janelle when she's back competing, but we will wait and see what they do across the country this afternoon. As next to go, the young lady from Great Britain. It is Laura Collett with David and Diana Chappell's Grand Maneuver. 44.9 they scored in the dressage. 16th position overnight, and things are definitely getting closer and closer now because there is just 2 fences covering between 18th place and just outside the top 3. So pole down will prove expensive, but Laura very experienced at this level, and Grand Maneuver quite the Barbury record.
Grand Maneuver, as you say, Nicole, never had a pole down at Barbury, but the interesting one, we've seen some great rounds to watch, and rounds, Yogi, for young riders to look at. Tom McHugh, Sam Eakroyd both producing those. But Laura Collett, when you look at a field of this talent, Laura Collett has had 61 CIC 3-star performances. She has a show jumping clear rate of 58%. That's the highest in the field. So no other rider has a clear rate.
And you know Yogi, Laura very well because you train her too, don't you?
Yes, again, it's a rider that has come up through the ranks. She started out with ponies, and then she was junior young rider. And as Dominic has just said, you know, a very, very solid record of international competitions. This is a horse that she has been riding over the last 3 seasons now, and she's been to badminton twice with him. A little bit of a disagreement going into those planks there, and he got his head up, but he was very, very neat over them.
Do you get any more nervous watching riders that you train?
You certainly do, because you know you care about it.
How's the time, Yogi?
Fine.
She should be all right.
So clear of the last.
Just inside the time.
Laura Collett, Grand Maneuver maintained that immaculate Barbury record, 44.9, 5 clear rounds from 5 runs here in the show jumping at Barbury, and they will be our clubhouse leaders in no worse than 16th place going forward to this afternoon show jumping. But he's such an extravagant jumper, isn't he, Yogi?
He is an extravagant jumper, but he's not always the easiest ride because he has got quite a long stride, and certainly when they're coming down those slopes and the undulations, they open up. But you know, I'm a strong believer that horses, they are familiarizing themselves with places, and the same as racing, some horses prefer certain tracks to others, and judging from his record, and you know, having been here 5 times and jumped 5 clear rounds in this ring, it's quite a good record.
So next to go, Shane Rose for Australia. Shane comes forward with Elizabeth Wish's CP qualified. There's a horse that's won at the very highest level. Won Adelaide 4-star, 44.3, 15th position. He did some incredible work in his dressage yesterday. Just a couple of errors. The horse got a little bit uncomfortable in the walk work, which was very costly, cost them a test in the 30s. But one to keep an eye on in the jumping phases because he is so consistent. Has won pretty much anything there is to win in Australia, and has run very well over on the continent as well. Was second at Aachen 12 months ago. But Shane is such a competitor.
Very much so, and as you said, he's had very, very good record in Australia, and it's great to see him come over to Europe now and compete here. Be based in England, because this is really where I think the event Riders Masters class has really come to now. The riders want to be part of it. They want to compete in this class. It's become a very, very exciting competition to watch. And I know we're getting a lot of clear rounds in the show jumping, but that, of course, again, just means that the scores will stay together from the dressage, and they will cross country, which is the exciting part of our competition, will be very, very, very interesting to watch later on. And with the course that Mark Phillips has set on here at Barbury, I think the cross country time penalties will be all very important, because I think it's very tight here, and I would be very surprised if many will get the time cross country. Wonderful clear round again. Fantastic job that Shane did with that horse. Lovely rhythm throughout.
Well, a clear round for CP qualified, and Shane will be delighted. It's the best dressage test. Well, not the best. He did a very good dressage test at Blenheim, but it's the first clear round he's jumped since that wonderful performance at Aachen in 2016, when he went on to finish second and finished on a 42.8. He's getting back to that form. He's had some difficult form in between. He arrived over, made a huge statement when he went into performed that huge performance at Aachen, but he's been looking to recapture that form ever since, and I think this weekend he's really shown what CP qualified can do.
Well, he is within a fence of the next 10 riders to go. So we now welcome Sarah Bullimore with Rev 08, her 4-star campaigner. 43.9 their dressage yesterday. That left them in 14th position coming into the show jumping. And Sarah has been a world-class rider, Yogi, for a number of years now. She's very experienced.
Yes, she has been doing 4-star events for a long time, and she's always produced very good horses in all 3 phases, and horses that she's come forward with time and time again, and she's got a nice string of young horses to back up her other ones. Of course, Lily Corrine, which she had such a good run with in Lumulan. Rev de Rue, he can be very, very good in the jumping phase, but he's got quite an unusual temperament in that he can get quite feisty, and sometimes he can just drop a pearl around show jumping, as we saw there over fence 3.
Well, that pole expensive costs him 6 places on the leaderboard. She won't want to add any more.
Well, it's in line with the recent form. Did 3 down at Badminton, but 1 at Belton. Did a day to forget at Burley last year, but 1 down at Gackham, 1 down at Lumulan. It's Bramham last year since their last clear show jumping round. They won't have it today, but if they can keep it to 4, they'll limit the damage.
Definitely, and again, with the dressage course being so close together and the show jumping course giving us those many clear rounds, it just means that you have a rail, and you come right down.
So the last to go, and she clears it easily inside the time. Sarah Bullimore, Rev Dodoué, just the 1 pole down, 4 to add. It's an expensive 4 though. She goes forward to the cross country, 47.9. That drops her 6 places on the leaderboard. She stays inside the top 20 as things stand at the moment. But our clubhouse leader, well, it is CP qualified and Shane Rose, 44.3. But we are well inside the top 15 now. And we are getting to the very, very tense, exciting part, because actually the reverse order in the jumping phases here in the Event Rider Masters means that the last to go will be our dressage leaders, Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon. But now we turn our attentions to a young lady who has incredible form with this horse at this level, and it is Nicola Wilson for Great Britain with 1 Too Many. Comes forward on a dressage score of 43.7. And Nicola comes here off the back of that very good 2nd place finish at Lumulan with Bulana. And 1 Too Many, Derm, is one of the most experienced horses at this level in the field.
Absolutely. In terms of their show jumping clears, they've jumped more show jumping clears than anyone else in the field. It's not going to happen today. 47.7 is now their score, and Nicole, it's been costly to knock a pole. 1 Too Many. Nicola wasn't happy with the dressage. She knows she can be better than that, but the pole down is a rare thing at this level and this format for 1 Too Many. They've already got 12. They won't be today.
Yes, again, he is normally very, very good, very clean jumper, and his record proves that. But he can and have of late, just from time to time, had the odd fence down in some major competitions, so it's not completely unusual.
So Nicola Wilson, one too many, makes the turn back towards the final line, rides this horse for Jerry and Mary Kemp and Janine Shewan. And if she could just get home with the 4 penalties, it wouldn't take her totally out of contention, because this is about the series leaderboard points as well. She went very well in leg 1 at Chatsworth, picked up good points there, finished 4th, just missing out on a podium spot. But one pole today, well, it costs her a number of places on the leaderboard, drops down to 19th, 6 places in total it's cost her. So Nicola Wilson, one too many. We'll wait to see them across the country this afternoon. Now though, we turn our attentions to a young man who made a real impression in the dressage yesterday, and it is Paul Sims with his wonderful 4-star campaigner Glenn Garnock. Paul making his Event Rider Masters debut, rides this horse for Joe Chambers. 15 years of age now, Glenn Garnock, and Yogi, he's been competed every season since a 5-year-old, 10 consecutive seasons by Paul. That is incredible stable management.
Very much so, and it just shows what a solid horse Glenn Garnock is, and what a lot of fun both the owners and Paul has been able to have with this horse. And then to at age 15 come here and produce his personal best in the dressage, because sometimes he's just been a little bit left behind after the dressage. And Paul is very experienced in the jumping phase. Actually, as a young man, did probably as much show jumping as he did eventing before the interest of cross country and the excitement of cross country took over, and he is now concentrated more and more on the eventing side.
Well, this is the 15th CIC 3-star, so the experience is there for Glenn Garnock. But if Paul can back up what he's done in a great performance in the dressage, as we say, a PB 43.6, this is going to be the influential phase, because in recent form we've seen the poles come down. Badminton, Burley, Somerford Park in the level below at 2-star level. Barbury this time last year was very, very much a round to forget, but so far so good. It would be a huge performance to get a clear show jumping around it. Did it at Bergam, but that's the only one in the recent form. We would have been expecting a pole in a tighter competition. Today has been a day that it can be done if the concentration is there. That's one. One is still not bad.
Well, 2 poles down, and that's going to cost him a lot of places on the leaderboard. 12 places on the leaderboard. The last goes as well. The final 3 fences for Paul Sims and Glenn Garnock, and 12 to add, 55.6. He's on 26th place going forward into the cross country this afternoon. It was brilliant to see him in the dressage yesterday, and I'm sure he will be looking forward to that final phase. Captain Mark Phillips's cross country course awaits, but let's go down and catch up with Michael, who is with Shane Rose.
Shane, a great ride there for you and CP qualified. How did you find the course?
Yeah, it's a really lovely course to ride. You know, the horses got going. I think I needed a bigger stud. It was a bit like a slippery ice skate ring for my horse. He slipped 2 or 3 times. But, you know, like it's a nice, beautiful venue. I've never jumped a course with such a big hill in it. So, you know, the rise and then the fall. So really interesting. I'm glad my horse jumped well.
Got lots of clear rounds so far this morning. That keeps things tight heading into this afternoon.
Yeah, like it's going to be really competitive and close. You know, the guys out there are going to have to obviously jump clear in the show jumping, and then, you know, the cross country is going to be pretty, you know, fast and furious. Nice hard ground, so I think there'll be some good times out there this afternoon and some good watching.
Well, best of luck for this afternoon, Shane. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Well, he is our clubhouse leader, CP qualified Shane Rose for Australia, 44.3. Now, though, we turn our attentions to the young Frenchman, and it is Sydney Dufair with Tresor Mail. And this is a horse that went very, very well in the Nations Cup, part of the winning French team at Tattersalls at the end of May. 43.3 their dressage. That left them in 11th position. Now, actually, Sydney just within 1 fence of being just off the podium as things stand. So a clear round could really see him move up the leaderboard. Poles are going to be so expensive inside the top 10. The reverse order show jumping here means that our dressage leaders, Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon, will be the last to go.
Yeah, Sydney again, he's been based over here and has competed a lot over in Britain, so he would be quite familiar to the English way of doing things and competitions here. I don't know if he has actually ridden in the 3-star here at Barbury before, but I'm sure he has been So
Horse
this
and
will
rider,
be
first time in the CIC 3-star at Barbury.
new experience to go up to that second level, but he's done a great job with it. Now we'll just see how he balances the horse coming down the slope. Did that beautiful, got plenty of height over the oxer. That gives him a nice level stride into the combination here. Again, this horse is jumping this course really, really well. Looks very much within his comfort zone.
Well, some big results last year. Rainswood, Jardy, Harastapan, all clear show jumping rounds. This late last season and this season hasn't been as good. Buccalo 2 down. Blenheim and Tattersall's both had faults. Today, so far, we are clear. We have 2 to go.
Gave the second last a good rub, so hopefully that will set him up for clearing the last. Yeah, and Sydney did a great job.
He does. So Tresor Mail, Sydney Defend, the pressure is on the top 10. 43.3. That is the score that he takes forward to the cross country, and he is within a pole of 4th place. That is how close it is, and that is how much influence the show jumping will have. But Yogi, Tresor Mail, one of actually 3 stallions in the field, Upsilon, a stallion that's leading. How fantastic is it to see those stallions competing at the highest level?
Well, it's great, and of course we won't forget Chilly Morning, who William Fox-Pitt was riding, and it's wonderful to see. And also for anyone that are interested in breeding, to actually see these stallions jump and see how they are performing, that gives you a pretty good idea, not just of their ability, but also their temperament. And that, of course, is such an important part in an event horse, that the horses have got the right temperament to take the training and to be able to go from the 3 different disciplines with the accuracy and the discipline and the calmness that is required for the dressage, and then the carefulness and still scopiness and boldness for the show jumping phase. And Gemma Tattersall has just started with Primera 4. This horse here has got all the scope in the world. Usually very, very careful when he goes round. It's a new ride for Gemma. Laura Collett used to ride this horse before. Gemma's literally just taken over him. I think it's the 3rd time they're competing together, but again, giving the plenty of height. He's quite a long striding horse. He wouldn't have necessarily too much experience coming down the slope, but Gemma did a wonderful job of balancing him there, and he got plenty of height, shortened him up for coming into the treble, which gave him plenty of room to go through it. So far jumping well, but these fences, they are almost small for this horse because he's got so much scope.
Well, it's Primera 4's first time at Barbury. There was clear rounds last year with Laura, Bramham, Gackham and also Blenheim. Gemma had a pull down on her first appearance with Primera 4 at Bramham, but she looks like she's going to get her first clear round with him now.
Well, Gemma Tattersall with Clive Smith, Primera 4. She stays inside the top 10, and this is one to watch for the series leaderboard as well, because Gemma picked up 30 points for her series leaderboard total with a win at Chatsworth in leg 1 with Quick Look the 5th, and she goes forward to the cross-country phase on her dressage score of 40.3. Now, none of those coming ahead of her, apart from our leader, can hold their position without jumping a clear round. Our leader, Thomas Carlyle Upsilon, has a pole in hand over 2nd place Andrew Nicholson Nereo, but any other penalties will see riders move on that leaderboard. We're expecting it to be a tense top 10, and this is when the pressure starts to build, and actually that's when poles can fall as well. This man, though, no cooler man under pressure, Oliver Townend, and Cooley Masterclass rides this horse for owner Angela Hislop. 41.6. They were in 9th after the dressage. Oliver, the series defending champion, and his series in 2016 didn't really kick off until Gackham. He'll be looking for good series points to get him on the leaderboard as quickly as he can. 41.6, Oliver Townend for Great Britain.
This has always been a really, really nice horse, Cooley Masterclass. horse that has promised a lot. Unfortunately has missed some time due to injuries, so his record has been sometimes a little bit up and down.
He tends to win when he comes out, doesn't he? He's won his last 2 internationals in the last 2 years.
And Oliver is a real tough competitor. He's here to do the job. He's here to win classes, and he's doing a really good job with this horse going round.
Well, 5 CIC 3-star performances for Cooley Masterclass. 3 of them have been show jump clear, so 60% record. The only other horses in that category are Strike Smartly. We saw the clear round already with Tom McEwen. One too many. Nicola, that she'll be disappointed with her pole, and RF Demeter. They're all horses that are in or around this guy in terms of their show jumping clear percentages. We will be expecting this guy to back it up. Oliver and Cooley Masterclass to keep themselves very competitive here.
So to the last, will it be a clear round? Yes, it will. Oliver Townend, Cooley Masterclass, they go forward to the cross country. 41.6, they hold their position. They'll be no worse than 9th, and they are our clubhouse leaders. So Cooley Masterclass, Oliver Townend, he's as cool as a cucumber, isn't he?
Very much so, and I mean, he set himself up here well for the cross country now, because that's the one thing with Oliver, is that he is quick cross country. And this horse here is fast, and on this top of the ground here, you very much like to think that he will be one of the faster ones on the cross country. And with everyone being so close together on the cross country course, just 1 second over 0.4 penalties, it can change a lot on the course that they will ride later on this afternoon.
Well, it certainly can, and this next man is one who has catapulted himself into stardom in the last 12 months. It is Alex Bragg for Great Britain with the Sally Ellicott's Zagreb. This is a 13-year-old by Perrion, and actually went so well at Po last year, finished 5th in the 4-star there, Yogi, and he is a serious contender for the European Championship.
Absolutely, and unfortunately couldn't show up at badminton after having done a fantastic cross-country course. I thought his cross-country at badminton was probably the round of the day. It's usually, and I shouldn't say it, I hope he stays clear and I haven't put the markers on it, but he's usually a very clean jumper, and Alexander has done a great job producing this horse. Made his 4-star debut at Burley, where unfortunately he came off from the cross country, very furious with himself, so he rerouted to Po and did a fantastic job there. And this is one definitely that I'm sure the selectors have got their eyes on for a place in the European Championship, and it would be wonderful for Alexander to get in contention for that. Unfortunately, just like the hind legs coming into the treble combination, which we know will be very expensive for him, and he will not be too happy about that.
Or drops in 5 places on the leaderboard. Oliver Townend moves up, Gemma Tattersall moves up, the planks go as well, and this is an expensive round. 12 places on the leaderboard with 2 down. That is how close it is here at leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters. Alex Bragg and Zagreb, 49.4, just the last to go. That would be uncharacteristic for this horse, but he clears the last. So just the 8 to go, 49.4, and he stays inside the top 20.
Well, what's interesting, 2 down, we wouldn't have expected it for Zagreb. One of the, on recent form, one of the top rated show jumpers in the field. It's very costly, not just from a competition point of view, but we've 18 long listed riders. We're moving in, we're in a European Championship year, and like any year, when you're in a championship year, you cannot afford mistakes. That'll bug him now for the rest of the day, because he didn't need that.
He didn't need that, no. And you know, again, the selector's job is not easy when you have got that many top combinations to choose from, and they, I'm sure, will scrutinize all the different results and see. And you know, and as they say, one swallow doesn't make a summer, one bad round doesn't spoil a good record, and you are always looking over the performance over a period of time. Unlike some sports where it's first past the post when it comes to selection, the selection for the British squad going to Zagreb is done by a selection committee, so that gives the riders a chance. This is another rider that might well want to eye up a place for the Stragem in the Irish team. Austin O'Connor, Kilpatrick Knight had a good badminton, and this is a phase where Austin usually produces the goods. He's got a very good record, show jumping point of view, and coming to the double combination, he has to work a little bit to get through that, but that is where Austin shows his effectiveness with his riding. and again put the leg to the horse, got plenty of height over that.
Shows his experience, Yogi. This is actually, he's approaching number 50 in terms of CIC 3 stars this decade. It's his 20th international in the last 12 months. He had some poles down at Badminton on Kilpatrick night, but before that we were clear at Belton, we were clear at Mill Street. As you say, it's Europeans year. He'll be hoping that a clear here will not only be very important from an ERM point of view, because he's in that top 7 at the moment, but also very important for the Irish team, for the Europeans. 3 to go, 2 to go.
He cannot afford a pole down to stay ahead of Oliver Town at just the last to go. Austin O'Connor, Kilpatrick Knight. What a brilliant round for Ireland. 40.5, he stays in 7th place, and I can see him climbing up the top 10. He's very happy with that. Derm, I imagine you're very happy with that too.
Always very happy when the Irish do well, Nicole, and that's a great result for them. They've backed up the huge dressage result, 40.5. They got a personal best yesterday in the dressage. You needed to be able to back it up, and he's done it. Let's see what happens ahead of him now, because there's a couple of horses that could have poles down.
Well, there is one pole covering the next 4 to go. We have 6 combinations left here in the show jumping. Leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters at the St James's Place Barbury Castle International Horse Trials. We hope you're enjoying the coverage. Yogi Breisner and Derm Byrne from Equa Ratings in the studio with us to give us their expert opinions. But it is the young lady for Great Britain, Emily King, the 2nd youngest rider in the field, and she comes forward with Jane Dalmatia's Dargan. And this is a horse that did the most beautiful test yesterday, 39.9. Emily scored her first ever international win here at Barbury in a 2-star section yesterday, and she is in 6th place coming forward in this 2nd phase. Cannot afford a penalty to stay ahead of Austin O'Connor.
Well, they did have one on their last outing. That was at Chatsworth. They were a clear before that at Burnham Market, but one down at Belton and one down in the CIC 2-star, that level below this, here at this venue last year. So one clear from their last 4. Today could be the day that we turn that around. We've seen some horses with that record jumping clear today.
Definitely, Touchwood so far so good. She was quite free coming down the slope over the Oxon and down to the treble combination. She's just got him back on his hooks again, got back that rhythm that she a little bit lost down through that lound. This is a phase which Emily have done a lot of work with. She spent a couple of winters in Germany working with some of the top German show jumping riders to just perfect herself. She's coming to the last, and she did a great job of that. Very well written round.
Brilliant clear round from the 21-year-old Emily King, with Jane Dalmatia's Dargan add nothing to that dressage score of 39.9. They hold their position, they pile the pressure on those to come behind her. Just 5 more combinations left to go here. Leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters in the show jumping, the 2nd phase. But Michael's down in the collecting ring with a very happy Irishman.
That's right, I've got Austin O'Connor with me. A fantastic ride there with Kilpatrick Knight. Very much pleased, I'm guessing, with the clear round.
Yeah, it's great. You know, it's great to jump a clear round. It's on the back of Badminton, where I had a bit of a disastrous show jumping round. So now we can finally put that behind us. And yeah, no, I was delighted with how we jumped.
You had a great dressage yesterday, a fantastic show jumping here. Looking forward to the cross country this afternoon?
Yeah, very, you know, again, as I said yesterday, we'll enjoy this bit. But yeah, looking forward to cross country this afternoon. And we'll, as I say, we'll try and give it a bit of a shot.
Fantastic, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So 5 more combinations to go. The tension is palpable here at Barbury Castle. Emily King, the clubhouse leader, with Dargan, 39.9. Next to go, none other than the double Olympic champion, Sir Mark Todd, for New Zealand. And Mark Todd comes forward with Di Brunsdon and Peter Cattell's Leonidas II, but the collecting ring, well, the competitors just putting their finishing touches to their preparations. What goes through the rider's mind just before they go in the arena, Yogi?
Well, obviously I've walked the course beforehand, so they know I've got a plan of what they want to do, what striding they want to have between the fences. And they would also have a plan on how they warm their horses up. Some horses needs a little bit more warming up, others a bit less. On average, a horse would probably jump somewhere around 8 or so jumps in the warm-up area. I know Louis de Severa, who has done a lot of work with the New Zealand team on the show jumping, he's here, so he will probably be out there in the warm-up area helping Mark Todd with his jumping and warming up. And then you like to have that final fence where the horse jumps the fence really well before he goes in. Some riders choose to have a spread fence to jump as last fence, others usually an upright fence. So I'm sure they have got that. It's down to a T, and now it's up to them to go in and produce a clear round.
Produce the goods. Well, Leonidas II, very experienced, was 6th at Badminton in the 4-star this spring. Was the horse that Mark Todd rode at the Rio Olympics last year. They're in 5th coming into the second phase here at Barbury. Cannot afford a penalty to hold that position, but if they jump clear, they pile the pressure on within a fence of 3rd place on the podium.
Well, this was another moment of the last year's Event Rider Masters Series. Leonidas, one of the best show jumpers in the field. He came on a huge run of show jumping clears. Huge pressure here at Barbury last year, and it broke that record. We had poles down for the first time. That form continued into the Olympics. It was a shock to all of us, but now 2017 we're back. A clear show jumping round at Belton, a clear show jumping round at Badminton, and hopefully now Barbury we're going to see it again. The pressure's on, but this boy can deliver. One of the best we've seen.
Yes, and of course Mark has represented New Zealand in the Olympic Games in show jumping as well as in eventing. Lately he has concentrated all his efforts in the eventing phase. If I remember right, it was the treble combination that let him down here last year, and he's gone through that clear. So it looks good so far.
So the time looks okay. He takes the option fence. Leonidas II, Sir Mark Todd cannot afford a fence down to hold their position.
And now Mark showed his real experience to the planks, because he just collected all up. He put him absolutely spot on to the fence. One fence left.
Well, is he about to
And
put his Event Rider Masters form behind him? Sir Mark Todd just takes a quick look over his shoulder. What a round from Leonidas II. 39.5. They hold 5th. What a turnaround.
He's back. Leonidas is back. I mean, he never really went away, if we're honest. Such a talent, but we've been waiting for that. That's now 3 in a row show jumping clears in 2017. The cross country is what it's going to be about for Mark Todd and Leonidas. Mark, as we've talked about all the way through, for such a talented rider, for such a talented combination, they haven't yet delivered in an Event Rider Masters Series. It's now set up for the Hills of Barbury. I'm expecting them to be big names later this afternoon.
And I have to say, the Kiwis are dominating on the top 5 at the moment. 3 of them inside the top 5. So Mark Todd clear. We've still got Jesse Campbell and Andrew Nicholson left to go. But now we turn our attentions to Pippa Funnel. Pippa with Sarah Joborg-Wick's Chippy, a horse who went so well here in the dressage 12 months ago with Hedvig Wick, who was actually based with Pippa. Pippa's taken on the ride this year, absolutely adores this horse. And a horse that's actually very experienced, rode at the London Olympics with the Japanese rider Kenki Sato, and 39.3 their dressage. In 4th overnight, and they cannot afford a penalty to stay ahead of Sir Mark Todd.
No, and again, all these top riders, when they come into the show jumping ring, they have the experience. Pippa's been in this situation many a time, and like Sir Mark Todd, Pippa of course is not adverse to taking part in pure show jumping competitions to a fairly high level as well, with her husband of course running the Billystad and breeding very good not just event horses but show jumping horses as well. The top horse Billy the Biz, who went again very well in Lumulan, I believe is going to Aachen, and again I'm sure Pippa is looking for hopefully getting a place to yet another European Championship, being one of very few number of riders who has actually doubled up and has won an individual European Championship on 2 occasions with the same horse, a Great Supreme Rock.
Well, looking at the data, only 12 combinations had maintained a two-phase score in the 30s in Event Rider Masters history up until today. Emily King has joined that list. Mark Todd and Leonidas have joined that list. Pippa and Chippy, they're on for it at the moment. To stay sub 40 after two phases, they would become the 15th combination in ERM series history to do that. Chippy at the moment, they've only had one round together so far. That's been clear. Are we getting our second?
We are indeed. What a round from Pippa Funnell. Chippy, and simply the best, rings out here at Barbury. She really is one of the best riders in the world. 39.3. She's just off a podium place as things stand, but that will be the score she takes forward going into this afternoon's cross country. 39.3, has not a time penalty across the country, and hand over second place in the clubhouse at the moment, Sir Mark Todd. And well, Pippa Funnell, she's one of the best, but so is Sir Mark, and he is talking to Michael.
So Mark, congratulations, a great round there. You and Leonidas having a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Very pleased to jump a clear round. After last year's disaster we had in the show jumping, it was good to put that behind us, and now look forward to the cross country.
It was a good performance yesterday as well. It puts you in good stead going into this afternoon.
Yeah, no, he's in good form. He hasn't run since badminton, but he feels really good, and he was nice and relaxed today, which was always good for him.
Perfect. So Mark, thank you very much. Best luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, Pippa Funnell and Chippy piling the pressure on the podium 3, because we are into the top 3 here. The second of the 3 phases in leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters at the St James's Place Barbury Castle International Horse Trials. And next to go will be the second of the New Zealanders inside the top 5. It will be Jessie Campbell with Carpuccino, and this is a horse who is liable to a few poles in this phase. It would certainly be the weakest link of his 3 phases, but Jessie, such a talented rider, knows this horse inside out, and he comes forward on 36.1. So Jessie Campbell for New Zealand, Carpuccino 36.1, has to jump clear to stay on the podium going into this afternoon's cross country.
Well, as you say, Nicole, this isn't their strongest phase, so always deliver a very good performance in the dressage. They've done that again here, 36.1. They're currently sitting in 3rd. We've seen poles down at Belton, Blenheim, Mill Street. Even just in their last few runs, we've seen lots of poles come down. Today, however, we're looking at a different type of test. Today is an opportunity for Cappuccino, I would think, to deliver their best performance in this phase. If ever they can stay in this top 3, top 4 area, this should be the type of course they can do it on, Yogi.
Definitely. I mean, it has proven a pretty straightforward course so far, and as you said, with the time factor being so generous, it gives the riders the opportunity to give themselves time, like you see here with Jess coming down the slope. He took all the time in the world, set the horse up, got him on the right spot. There we are again. And we saw that earlier with Paul Sims, that when these horses that are not naturally careful horses, the rider can keep them up together. They have one rail, and usually another one comes down pretty shortly afterwards. And the same thing here again. It seems to be they can keep that clear round going for a while, and then you get 2 or 3 very quickly after each other.
Things not going to plan at all for Jessie. 4 down so far, drops outside the top 20. And Carpuccino has been such a superstar for him over the years. Doesn't owe him a thing. He absolutely adores the horse. And 52.1 the score they take forward. But Pippa Funnell is onto the podium. She climbs the leaderboard into 3rd. And we'll go down and catch up with her thoughts on that round.
Pippa, congratulations, a clear round there for you. How did you find the course?
Yeah, it's a super course. It's always lovely to be here at Barbury, and I think it just shows the standard now of the field and the jumping now that we're seeing so many clear rounds. I personally would have liked a few less because he wouldn't be the fastest in the world out there, but no, the horses are jumping great on him.
Pippa, thank you very much. Best luck this afternoon.
Thanks.
Well, we have just the 2 to go. So just seeing Jessie Campbell come down this final line with Carpuccino, just didn't quite get high enough.
And when you have a horse that isn't naturally careful like that, it's not a lot the rider can do. And with a horse that does a good dressage and is good cross country, then you have to take a few down like that. It's no point of being disappointed. I thought Jess did what he could do.
So next to go. The man who took leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters 12 months ago. He's known around here as the King of Barbury. He has the most sensational Barbury record. He's won here for the last 5 years. He's bidding to make it 6 in a row. He's bidding to become only the second rider to take 2 Event Rider Masters legs on the same horse. It is Andrew Nicholson with Deborah Seller's wonderful 17-year-old Nereo. 34.9, cannot afford to give Thomas Carlyle any more penalties in hand over him. Tom already has a pole in hand. 34.9, what can the Maestro do?
Well, again, this is a combination. They know each other extremely well. I think Andrew does a fantastic job with this horse. He can jump, he has a lot of scope. He is a careful horse by nature, but he's not always the easiest to put a clear round out. We saw at Badminton where he did jump clear, but Andrew had a couple of time penalties, and likewise last year here had a time penalties. Now the time is much more generous here, which gives Andrew the opportunity and the time to set the horse up right for everything. At the moment the horse is jumping very, very well, and again it's a lesson on how much you do show jumping rounds. Calm with his body, uses the turns in the right way, puts the horse deep to the triple bar, which allows the horse to come up in the air, which should set him up for the plank nicely. He finds a beautiful strike to the plank.
He can afford one down to stay ahead of Pippa Funnel, to hold second place, but he needs to put the pressure on Thomas Carlyle, a dressage leader with Upsilon. I
don't think he can afford any down, Nicole. If we're talking about going for the record, he's already won 5 in a row. We're coming to the last. He's still clear.
The time is looking tight. Well, one time penalty, Andrew Nicholson, but Deborah Sellers Nereo jumps a clear round. He won here last year with one time penalty in the show jumping derm. Can he do it again?
I think we're about to see Upsilon deliver a clear round, and that's going to put huge pressure on them, but it doesn't really change where Andrew was in any event. However, what I would say, it was a good observation by you both, because his last 3 internationals, Barbury Castle, he added a time penalty. Burley, he added time penalties, and Badminton, he added time penalties.
So Andrew Nicholson, one to keep an eye on this afternoon, but Jesse Campbell, he's talking to Michael.
Jesse, there must be some disappointment there with that round.
Yeah, it's not what we wanted, but these are horses, not machines, and sometimes that happens.
How will that affect you now going into this afternoon?
I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. Disappointed, but we're not competitive, but hey.
Jesse, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Well, disappointment for Jesse Campbell, but elation for Andrew Nicholson. He's piled the pressure on Thomas Carlyle, and Nereo picks up just the solitary time penalty. Has actually had a time penalty in the show jumping on his last 6 consecutive runs, both nationally and internationally now. But our attention is turning to the man of the moment. Thomas Carlyle, he set a new record dressage score in the Event Rider Masters series yesterday with the wonderful grey stallion Upsilon, just a 9-year-old, this stallion. And he's already been on the podium in the Event Rider Masters series this year. He can afford a pole down, but he wants to keep the pressure, and he wants to give himself a little bit of buffer across the country. Thomas Carlyle for France, our dressage leader, and Upsilon.
Well, this is an interesting one. We told everyone how amazing a show jumper he was at Chatsworth. Yogi, you were with me that day, and we saw a very, very uncharacteristic stop as he came to the last. He added 9 penalties, and he still managed to be on the podium because of his speed cross country. Are we going to do it again? I told everyone it was going to be an exhibition and to stand back and watch. I'm afraid to do it now, but I'm going to take a risk.
Put my head on the line and say that he won't do the same mistake again.
No,
this will be a clear round all the way. And with Andrew Nicholson's, I mean, he knows Barbury better than anyone here. And if anyone is going to get the time round across country, it will be Andrew Nicholson. So if Thomas gives himself a few penalties as a cushion, I think he's going to do himself a good favour, because we know that Andrew is going to be one of the fastest on the cross country.
If Tom jumps clear, he will have 12 seconds in hand on the cross country this afternoon. That'll take the pressure off him. He's already been on the podium. This could be influential in terms of series points as well. Upsilon, such an extravagant horse in the jumping phases.
But I suppose sometimes, Nicole, when you get that extravagance in either the dressage or the show jumping phase, sometimes it doesn't come true to the cross country. At Chatsworth, a venue where nobody makes the time, very, very few, a very difficult place to make time, he did it on Upsilon. So this guy has it in all three phases. He's 2 to jump.
So Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon. 30.8, our dressage leaders. They're our cross-show jumping leaders as well, because Upsilon, could he be the first horse to win an Event Rider Masters leg from start to finish? 30.8, that was pure class, Yogi.
It was for pure class. Thomas rode a horse beautifully, and we know it's a very, very, very good jumper. And you know, he was plenty of daylight between each of the fences there, and you know, he set himself up. We know that he can be fast from his run at Chatsworth. Chatsworth is not dissimilar to the track here at Barbury in that we have got the hills and going up and down. This is probably a little bit more twisty, but a similar track, so he would be odds on now.
Well, he has 12 seconds in hand over last year's winner, Andrew Nicholson, with Michael now.
Andrew, you picked up a time penalty there, and that, your thoughts on that?
I was very pleased. I thought Narao jumped beautifully. You know, time penalty, I've learned to accept those nowadays. I know it won't make any difference to the outcome. If I get beat by Thomas, I get beat by Thomas. Yeah, I've just watched him show jump beautiful round, and yeah, I was very happy with Narao, and it's all to go for on the cross country now.
Tom's just jumped clear. What pressure does that add to this afternoon's cross country?
We had plenty of pressure before, you know, full respect for the way Thomas rides, and you know, all the other riders who are close up behind me as well. So you just got to do your best and hope it's good enough to win.
Andrew, thank you very much for your time. Best luck this afternoon. Thank you.
Well, what an incredible round from the Frenchman. He's already topped the Event Rider Masters podium before he won the series finale at Blenheim 12 months ago. Derm, is he going to be our first combination to win a leg leading from start to finish?
He is, Nicole, he is. I think he's been, you know, if you look, it was actually the latter part of the Event Rider Masters last season when he made his big impact. So Blenheim, he's already been delivered a huge performance at Chatsworth. For me, he probably would have won Chatsworth, but for that very, very small mistake in the show jump, with 9 penalties it added, he would have won Chatsworth on a record-breaking score. There he is now. Are we going to get an interview with him?
We are indeed. Let's hear what the man himself has to say. Let's hear from Tom with Michael.
Thomas, congratulations, a clear round. You're in pole position and in a great position going into this afternoon, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel a bit more relieved now. Put Chatsworth behind me, worked on that a bit, and yeah, I mean, to be able to have 10, 11 seconds over Andrew here, where if you want to win, you've got to have them, because he knows this place like the back of his hand. So no, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
We had lots of clear rounds there. Obviously, you mentioned, I think it's about 12 seconds that you've got going into this afternoon. How does that affect your preparation going into this? Your thoughts on this afternoon's cross country?
Well, I'm still going to stick to my plan. If I was going to be competitive after the surgeon ping, I was going to get out the start box with my leg on and tight lines and try and always keep coming to my fences. Try and get a similar feel to what I had going around Chatsworth, where the horse was absolutely unbelievable. If I try and stick to that, and I don't know how I'll cope with the twists and the turns. He's still only 9, but I want to give him a fast run. Andrew's always going to be faster than me. It's just seeing if I can be not so slow.
We've seen a masterclass for you from earlier on in the dressage yesterday, and obviously what we've just seen in the show jumping there. For anyone that's new to our sport, that's maybe here for the first time today, and what's your preparations between now and getting to the cross country this afternoon? What will you and Upsilon be getting up to?
Upsilon's just going to breathe, maybe have an inhalation, help with his breathing. He'll be cooled down after the show jumping. He'll be walked again about a good half hour, maybe 3/4 of an hour before the cross country run. I've got a horse I'm riding for my good friend SJ Nicola, who broke his leg last week, so I've got a catch ride on him. I've got to take round the course, which is going to give me a slight advantage if I hadn't had him. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Thomas, thank you very much and best luck for this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Thomas. Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Well, what drama in the show jumping this morning, but it is Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon for France who lead the way. Let's take a look at the leaderboard and how it looks after the second phase here at leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters. And Thomas sits with a bit of time in hand. Interesting to hear that he's going to give the horse a fast run. And he has 12 seconds in hand of second place, Andrew Nicholson Narao, last year's winners. Chippy, Pippa Funnel, great round for her. She moves up a place onto the podium spot. but we have 21 seconds covering 2nd through to 10th. And again, it is tight through 10th to 20th too. Time penalties are going to pay a big impact on the cross country this afternoon. Disappointment for Paul Sims, Glenn Garnock. They dropped down the leaderboard with those 3 fences down, and they'll be ruining that after that very, very good dressage yesterday. And of course, Billy Brogue withdrawn overnight, as was Sammy Birch, the court jester, who was in equal 7th after the first phase for Australia. But 36 combinations have completed their show jumping. Let's just take a few moments to look back on the action and how it unfolded, because we had a lot of clear rounds. The quality of the fields was good, but how many did we have in comparison to other legs?
Well, that's the highest, Nicole. Barbury Castle 2017 was going to come out at about 61% show jumping clear rounds. Up until that point, 3rd place in that list would be Barbury 2016, which was 38%. Chatsworth 2016, a field of very, very strong show jumpers, came in at 42%. So a big jump today. We saw a lot more clear rounds than we were expecting to see. What effect that has had? It means that we're going to come down to a cross-country battle now. It means it's still very tight. We've got some combinations in there, still sub 40, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be about time penalties cross-country. Early Barburys. Barbury from 2008 to 2014. Time on the cross-country was hugely influential. The last 2 Barburys, it hasn't been as influential. We're going to have to wait and see what kind of course we have today.
And Yogi, Captain Mark Phillips, the course designer here. Have you had a chance to walk the course? What were your thoughts?
I walked the course, and I've had a chat with Mark as well about it. I think that it's, defence-wise, it's a wonderful course. There is enough technicalities on it. There is enough difficulties to that it's not just going to be a race against the clock. They will have to take care with all these fences. There are plenty of skinny fences. The water jump has always caused a little bit of problem here. There is a very, very skinny brush coming out of that. But I think unlike the last couple of years, there are a few more what we would call turnbacks, where they have to jump a fence at the cricket stumps. They come down the slope and have a very, very tight turn. If they're not in control, they're going to be thrown wide, going to lose a little bit of time around those. My guess is that they will find it difficult to get the time today, despite it being top of the ground, where they should gallop fast because it's very fast ground. But I think it's a tight enough track that it will be exciting.
And who do you think? Obviously, Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon Derm, but who else do we need to look out for inside the top 10 to climb?
Well, naturally, Andrew and Thomas, they're 2 very, very, very fast riders. Mark Todd is going to be fast. Pippa said herself that her horse might not be the fastest among those top horses. It's a new territory for Emily to come in a 3-star competition, but she is a very courageous, very brave rider. She has a natural fast way of riding, so I wouldn't put it past her. Austin, again, it's an experienced combination. They should be able to be there on the pace if they want to be. And of course, Oliver Townend, another rider that is known for being very, very, very quick. We know with Gemma, she has got the points from Chatsworth. She's always a hungry person. She's had a fantastic spring in both Bramham and Chatsworth and other competitions, and badminton, of course. I know she wants to impress the selectors, even though this horse wouldn't be up for selection. Her other 2 horses are he's a fast horse, so she will be up there as well. I think there is a whole bunch of them that can knock on the door.
And actually, one of the things that the Event Rider Masters Series brings is almost that feel of a championship, the pressure that the riders are under, reverse order jumping, and the pressure builds, and we see that's when mistakes creep in. So actually, for a rider to be able to prove themselves in that pressure can only be a good thing.
Oh, absolutely, and it's very, very good for the sport. And of course, the added pressure is that these classes have got proper prize money. We have got a nice prize pot for them to go, and it's thanks to the organisation and the people behind it and the sponsors to the ERM series that we have been able to put the prize money up there, which, you know, we have in show jumping and we don't have the same in eventing. And you know, these riders, that comes in handy if they can top up the coffers and the owners with a little bit of prize money. It's not cheap to keep these horses going, and it takes a long time to produce them to this level. So it's a wonderful injection to our sport to have these ERM classes. And of course, this year, for the first time, we are going abroad. They had one in Germany earlier, and next week, of course, in Jardin in France. And I'm sure these guys will cross the channel and fight for it there as well.
Well, leg 4 in Jardin, and actually it is about the series points as well. But the show jumping here at Barbury for leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters, let's just say that we have a top class field. 12 of the world's top 30 riders coming forward. The most beautiful setting here at Barbury, and it really does set the scene for an incredible conclusion to leg 3 of the Event Rider Masters. We won't know the winner until the last horse crosses the line this afternoon. That will be Thomas Carlyle and Upsilon. But we saw some incredible show jumping rounds, and Tom certainly left nothing to chance. He wasn't risking a problem like he had at Chatsworth, which cost him a win in leg 1. But let's just say the cross country this afternoon, we're expecting the leaderboard to be shaken up even more. Tom Carlyle 12 seconds in hand over last year's winner Andrew Nicholson. He had a time penalty in the show jumping but still took the win last year. Can he do it again? Will we see our first rider to win an Event Rider Masters leg leading from the start of the first phase? Well, you'll have to join us to find out. We're live with all of the action, all the behind the scenes interviews as well at 2:15 British summertime this afternoon. We hope you can join us. In the meantime, if you've missed any of the show jumping, you can catch up online, eventridermasters.tv. But we'll be back with you this afternoon, and we hope you can join us.